And President Trump's crackdown on Minneapolis has other cities wondering whether they could be next. Miami's Democratic mayor says people there are afraid of their own government and that the immigration crackdown's tearing families apart and hurting the local economy. And Mayor Eileen Higgins is here with more on that. Hi, Mayor. Thank you for coming on. I know more than half of Miami's residents are foreign-born, which is the highest percentage of any city in the country. So what's your reaction to Border Czar Tom Homan's announcement in Minneapolis today?
Well, we have seen ICE in cities all across America behaving differently. In Miami, they are certainly in and have been in our community for many months. The residents in Miami are afraid. Every day, I'm talking to someone who whispers, my brother, my uncle, my sister, alligator Alcatraz, we don't know where they are. And so they're using different tactics in different places. But we have that double whammy of alligator Alcatraz, where not only are they taking people, they're putting them in cages in a swamp. And then, of course, our population, as you mentioned, is just richly filled with immigrants. And the elimination of TPS is creating more vulnerable families that ICE can come after. In November, we saw the last batch of Venezuelans have TPS eliminated and being told they can go back to Venezuela, a place that is clearly unstable. The colectivos are still patrolling the streets. And then on Tuesday night, we are going to get another horrible blow to the city of Miami when our Haitian community loses TPS at midnight. And that will create tens of thousands of more residents that are no longer here with legal status and are being told they can go back to a completely unstable country.
You opposed an agreement signed before you took office that allows local law enforcement to assist federal immigration authorities. But we just heard Homan say local cooperations makes immigration operations more efficient, safer for everyone involved, and makes it easier to target immigration efforts on people who are public safety threats. What's your response to that?
Well, our police force is trained completely differently from what we are seeing in ICE. They appear to be using police tactics that nobody has used in 20 or 30 years. We and our local police department is well trained. They are led by men and women who have been professionals for years. They are integrated into the community and they are accountable to the community. And by the way, they do a great job. We are a city of immigrants. We're one of the safest cities in the United States of America. We have an extremely low crime rate. So anyone that thinks that your country of origin is connected to criminality only needs to look at Miami and the safety we experience every day to know that that is not true. Just because you're an immigrant does not mean you're a criminal. And our police need to be focusing on making sure our parks are safe, our streets are safe, our neighborhoods are safe. They should not be doing the job of federal law enforcement, particularly now when what we are seeing with ICE is they are not trained to work in urban areas and neighborhoods. They are using excessively aggressive tactics that, by the way, are resulting in the deaths of U.S. citizens. They really do need to take a step back, look at what they're doing, retrain themselves, and focus on what they said they were going to do, which was go after criminals. That's not what they're doing. They're going after everyone. It is making the public less safe, not more safe. And what we're seeing in Minneapolis is living proof of what they are doing is taking America backwards in terms of public safety.
So what would you say to people who hear Homan's statements and what you just said and say all the more reason to provide local law enforcement who have the training for crowd control for those situations and who can connect them directly with jails and prisons so they're not out there conducting raids in towns?
That is not the job of our police department. Our police department has worked deeply and with integrity to gain the community's trust. The minute they begin to act under the authority of another organization that does not have the best interests of our neighbors, our neighborhoods, and our own safety, they will lose the trust of our community. And that is the number one thing you need in policing successfully. People have to look at your officers and know that they care about the community and making sure that everybody leaves lives safely. When you're in cooperation with an agency right now that appears to be out of control and not well trained, it could do a deep reputational damage to our police department. And I really want our police department focused on keeping our residents safe. And ICE needs to relook at its tactics. Clearly, these people don't have enough training to know how to work in urban environments and in a humane manner. I mean, ripping in people's houses and separating them from their children. Obviously, it's much more aggressive than it needs to be. I grew up Catholic, so for me, I view this as very sinful behavior. There are ways to keep our border safe. We all want a secure border. Nobody wants criminals in our country, and they need to go back to focusing on that. And they really need to hire someone that knows how to do training to do these sorts of operations safely in America's cities.
All right, Miami Mayor Eileen Higgins, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.